Entertainment Weekly, Brandy's meatiest album to date. Los Angeles Times, her lyrics ring with grace and authenticity.
Ooh.
The Daily... The Daily News of Los Angeles says her most personal album to date, it's also her most adventurous. So everyone loves it,
Yeah, I'm really excited about that. I've never had those type of reviews before.
Yeah, what do you think it is?
I just think it's the honesty with the album. I think I just really let loose, got a lot of things off of my chest, and you can really hear the truth and the struggle and the pain that I've gone through in the last couple of years.
You let...
What it do? It's your boy Q, back with another video. If you're new to my channel, subscribe, like my content, all that good ish. Let's get right into it. This video is gonna be about the vocal Bible herself, Brandy, and two albums that's like, that goes head to head. You know what I'm saying? As far as the fans, I'll say. And it will be Full Moon versus Afrodisiac. Let's get into it. Now, Full Moon, of course, was released before Afrodisiac. But before we get into Full Moon, before Full Moon, we had Never Say Never, Brandy's second album. It was multi-platinum. Like, she had hits, number ones. You know, the duet with Monica, which we all know, Grammy Award winning. So the anticipation for the third album from Brandy was very, very high. I'm a big fan of Brandy. So for me, you know what I'm saying, I liked a lot of her songs, a lot of her projects. And there was some projects that I didn't like, you know what I'm saying? Nonetheless, Brandy is like one of my top 5 as far as vocally and just in entertainment. So to get back into it, you know what I'm saying? Moesha ends in 2001. You know, she gets to work on her third album. Boom, Full Moon is released in 2002. And for me, you know what I'm saying, I felt like that as far as the fans, like the hardcore fans, like I'm not a hardcore fan of Brandy, but I love Brandy's music. But the hardcore fans, I think, really fell in love with this album. The critics did not actually follow suit with that. And I can kind of agree with them. You know, the singles, What About Us, Full Moon, He Is, you know, and, you know, that was around the time that Brandy had got pregnant. She had, quote unquote, got married, and, you know what I'm saying? So the project wasn't really, you know, really pushed, you know what I'm saying? Because she really couldn't, you know, go on a world tour or anything of that nature. So, you know what I'm saying? We're going to talk about the album-wise. For me, I felt like that the album was kind of like all over the place. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if there was kind of like a futuristic aim for the project. There was a lot of kind of like futuristic sounds. You know what I'm saying? We got Rodney Jerkins producing on the album, Warren Campbell and others. So, but majority Rodney Jerkins. And at this time, you know, around 2001, 2002, Rodney Jerkins was doing like a futuristic sound. And that was around the time that he was recording with Michael Jackson, doing the Invincible album. And, you know, you could actually kind of hear some of those sounds, you know, from some of those songs on Invincible and some of the songs kind of like on Full Moon in a way, in my opinion. Favorite songs from Full Moon would be Full Moon, He Is, and what is it? It's Not Worth It. It's Not Worth It is like the jam, like, and there's background vocals from Michael Jackson in it, and it's just it's all that, you know what I'm saying. But the majority of the project, and it's another song I can't. Anybody know anybody to know anybody? That song, I liked that one too. You know, more so the beat. But I didn't really fall in love with a lot of the songs on the album. Again, I felt like it was just like all over the place, and it didn't really click for me as far as like, you know, this was the album that like kind of put Brandy on the map vocally to me. I didn't really get that. You know what I'm saying? You know, she did videos to Full Moon and What About Us. And, you know, the Full Moon era kind of died out. Boom. We moved to 2004. Now 2004 is when Afrodisiac is released. Singles, Afrodisiac, Who Is She to You, Talk About Our Love. For me, this was the album for me. Like, this was it. Like, when I heard this album, I was like in love. Like, I used to listen to Afrodisiac like daily. It was like Brandy was experimenting with her voice with this album, and for me it was like this was kind of like a taste of a more grown-up adult Brandy, because Full Moon for me it was kind of like, you know, older Brandy, Moesha still, you know what I'm saying, but kind of like Aphrodisiac, it kind of put me in like a, you know, Brandy's an adult, and like the way she was singing on this album, it was like her tone. And what I loved the most, I don't know the circumstances of why she didn't work with Rodney Jerkins on Afrodisiac, but she worked a majority with Timbaland on this album. And the sounds Timbaland came up with were like out of this world. That was kind of around the time that Timbaland was like in his bag, as far as like when he was like evolving with his beats. This album, like every track for me, it was it. But favorites off the top, Aphrodisiac, ha 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 ha, ha 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 ha. The song with T.I., you don't have to take my advice, you don't have to compromise. And it's all because I love ya, I do, got to be necessary. How I feel, it's only gonna change if you let it, and it's real. What's another one? Finally I walked away, never would have seen these days. If you're rolling with me, don't try to be so ditty. Don't wanna lose my focus. I try to, I believe that album inspired so many albums, like, you know, Solange, and, you know, just so many like alternative R&B artists. That album sparked like a wave, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just Aphrodisiac for me. Like, I mean, Full Moon, it did its thing, you know what I'm saying? The fans loved it, but Full Aphrodisiac was, I feel like, one of Brandy's best work. Like, it was critically acclaimed. It was like sexy. It was adult. It was different. You know what I'm saying? Like, I felt like Brandy always experimented with her voice, and like every album that Brandy put out, for me, it was kind of like a different sound, as far as not even like the production, but like how she used her voice. If you listen to B7 or even the first album, Never Say Never, like she gives you different tones, different, like, it's crazy, and that's why she's called the vocal Bible. But y'all let me know which one y'all go for, like Brandy fans or just music fans in general. If you know the albums, if you listen to the songs, like, which one does it for you? Will it be Full Moon or Afrodisiac? It's Afrodisiac for me. So y'all drop down in the comments. Let me know what y'all feel, what y'all think, and I'm out of here. Peace.